is the way. This is the way.
Good evening, everyone. Chris here from Fatherly Fandom. We're doing a live presentation tonight over the premiere of The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 17, titled The Apostate. So this is our reaction video, so if everybody in the chat can tell me what they thought of this one, that'd be great. I've got a lot of insights and things that I am excited to talk about with you guys, so let's see if we got anybody. Got one person viewing right now, so let's see if we can get some more people coming on in. All right. George Holly, he said, squeeze! Thanks for that, guy. Appreciate that. So welcome. Hopefully everybody's doing great. What did you think of this episode, premiere episode? I gotta say, you know, the runtime, I looked at it when I popped it on Disney Plus. 37 minutes. That was pretty awesome. I was, you know, I thought it went quickly, but at the same time, it still was a lot of fun. I think that it was nice and tight. I don't feel like there was any boring moments in the episode. What'd you guys think? Let me just turn this music down a bit. It might be a little too loud. Let's see here. There we go. And boom. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, so we're just waiting for some people to join us here. So hopefully you found us. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube right now. So this is a live stream. It's real kind of a more informal reaction video. What I'm gonna do, guys, for tomorrow on the channel is I'll make a breakdown and review video for Mandalorian Chapter 17, The Apostate. So this one's just going to be all about our reactions and everything. I really want you guys to be involved in this too, so please let me know what you think of this episode. And I love, and as we get started here, I'll run through my thoughts, things that I enjoyed about this as well. And for all you guys watching out there, hopefully you watch this episode because there's going to be lots of spoilers here. So fair warning, everybody who's watching right now. Spoilers abound. We're going to be getting into it, okay? So don't watch this. And if you have it on right now and you haven't watched the episode, go watch the episode right now. Or you can check out our breakdown and review tomorrow. So it'll be all good. So don't worry about it. So for those of you that have seen it, definitely let me know what you thought of the episode. I really want to hear. I want to hear from you. That's what this is all about, is I want to hear from you guys. So I, going into this episode, straight off the bat, guys, I was really excited to see more Mandalorians. You know, we get to see the Children of the Watch. And apparently the Armorer's been pretty busy rebuilding this sect up, because the last time we saw them in, Book of Boba Fett, it was just her and Paz Vizsla, and then they kicked Din Djarin out because he removed his helmet. And I absolutely loved the helmet ceremony and everything, the child coming of age and taking the creed, and that was just amazing. And I love that ritual, and I love this symbolism too about that. If you guys notice too, he was in the water and everything. Water has a very major symbolism when it comes to religion and everything else. It's kind of a way of being reborn. So these Mandalorians use water in order to be reborn as a true Mandalorian in their eyes, you know, not supposed to take off the helmet and whatnot. And did you guys think, let me know in the comments too, if you guys thought, at first when I was watching this, I really did think that this guy, I thought this was a flashback. Did you guys think it was a flashback? It felt that way to me, but then, you know, we see the armor, we see Paz Vizsla in there. I'm like, well, I guess they could be old or something. I don't know, guys. But for me, I definitely had the vibe of a flashback, and I thought that was Din in his ceremony to get his helmet and whatnot. And I thought it was really interesting. I loved how they did that because basically they were able to show you what Din Djarin went through in the current time frame. Like, so they were able to relay his experience onto this new kid, which was really cool. I love how they did that. It was very well done. And I gotta say, like, each season premiere, from the first chapter to the Marshal from season 2, each they must have like a list on a bulletin board, be like, okay, these are the things that we need to have in our first episode of the season. We got to have a big monster in there at some point in time. So they did this in the first episode in the beginning, when they were on the ice planet and that walrus like monster was chewing on the ship. And then of course we got the crate dragon in season 2, and now we got this. It was what? It's like an alligator / turtle-like creature that they're fighting off. The Mandalorians are fighting off. And honestly, like, this is like, all those Mandalorians fighting this monster. That's pure. That's absolutely everything I've ever wanted. And that's something that they like to do. Like, that is something that brings honor to their clan and whatnot. And it's one of the reasons why the mythosaurs died out, too, is because they killed them all to extinction. Same thing with this. And so it was really a really hard kill, and who comes swooping in at the end to save the day? It's Din Djarin and the N1 Naboo Starfighter, which is really cool, guys. I'm just like, man, I love that moment. And that's when it was just like, oh man, this is not a flashback. This is the current time. It was so awesome. And then of course you get little Grogu in the back as he pops up. Hey, he's just having a blast this whole time too. And I love that. I think the opening to this episode was pretty awesome. I gotta say, I loved every moment of it. I love seeing the armorer. And, I got the sense that the armorer was kind of, she's trying her best to rebuild this covert and to build her people up. And clearly, they're living in a cave right now, but they've got a ton of foundlings. And I wonder, like, where are they getting these foundlings, right, guys? I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they're not stealing these kids, kind of like the Jedi. It's so crazy, the Jedi culture and the Mandalorian culture are so different in so many ways, but they're also so similar in so many ways too, which is crazy. So I love that opening scene. I love that we got the alligator / turtle monster in this. And Mando comes and saves the day. And Din actually, like, we learned that Din got a piece of shard from Mandalore, and he got it off of a Jawa, and the Jawa had apparently said that he got it from a traveler that went to Mandalore. And so the whole point there was he was showing this to the armorer so that he could tell her, hey, somebody's been there. It's obviously not poisonous to stop by Mandalore. We should look into it. But it was really cool how they presented this glass-like thing, because it's like that's what they said. The whole planet was turned to glass and everything because of the bombs and the TIE bombers that they used. So yeah, it was pretty awesome right there. And I love how the armor was just like, you took off your helmet. What's there to do? You can't do it. You can't reconcile this. You can't make up or atone for this because our planet's gone. It seems like at this point, like, the armor has no hope in this, and it's just crazy. It's like Din's actually able to bring her a little bit of hope. He's able to bring her back, and I feel like, at least for this episode, that was his job in this episode, was to bring people back from the brink. Maybe that's what we'll see in the next couple of episodes, because very similar thing too with Bo-Katan. And like the armor, she gave me this vibe of, a feeling hopeless, like everything was hopeless. And that's how Bo-Katan obviously felt at the end. Just fast forward to the end, same type of thing. So we start off with the armorer, one sect of Mandalorians in the show, and then we end with another type of Mandalorian at the end. So I thought that was a cool little duality that we had there. But both of these separate Mandalorian factions, these separate Mandalorian leaders, are feeling the same thing. So, and the link there, the commonality between all of those is Din Djarin, and he's going to be the one to unite these factions, to unite these people, to rally the troops, to bring back these folks that feel lost and that there's no hope. And that was just amazing. And I think that they did a great job with that in this episode. It was amazing. Absolutely like that. So, all right. Nobody's commenting, so let's keep going on here, and we'll keep reiterating some of the stuff that I really enjoyed of this episode. It was really fun. And then we got a kind of recap when Din is talking to the armor. They kind of did a really good job of recapping the episode in that little portion when he was talking to her. She reminds him, like, you removed your helmet willfully, so you're no longer a Mandalorian, and we have to, and the only way you can atone is to going to Mandalore, under the mines of Mandalore, to bathe in the living waters, is what he said. So you get the majority of stuff that you actually missed if you didn't watch Book of Boba Fett. And I'm really curious if anybody out there has skipped Book of Boba Fett, but is watching this first episode. Were you confused at all? Did you have any questions for why Grogu was there? That's my only thing is, they kind of go into it a little bit more when they're with Grief Kargas later on. Like, he's like, I removed my helmet, I gave the kid up, he came back to me, now I'm an apostate and I've got to figure out that situation. So he kind of explained it a little bit, but it's like, it's very vague. So it's like, if you are coming into this and only watched season 2 of The Mandalorian, you're like, wait, where's Luke? Why isn't Grogu with Luke? Well, he went off with Luke during Book of Boba Fett, and Luke actually gave Grogu a choice. He could either go back with the Mandalorian and accept the chainmail that was gifted to him by Din Djarin, or he could take Yoda's lightsaber and take the path of the Jedi. So he gave him a choice, and Grogu obviously, chose the Mandalorian in this. And it's cool. Throughout the episode, you can see the chainmail on Grogu throughout this episode, which is really cool. And the other awesome thing that I loved about this episode, guys, was that, Din is actually acting like a teacher. He's teaching Grogu about the Mandalorian ways, the way of the Mandalore. Throughout the episode, he's talking to him, walking him through stuff, and he's like explaining like the planet that they go to. Kalevala is the planet that Bo-Katan's on, and that's actually the homeworld of House Kryze, which is, where Duchess Satine was born, as well as Bo-Katan were born. So that's their ancestral home. It's also in the Mandalore sector, if you guys didn't know. So there's more than just the planet of Mandalore that is home to Mandalorians. So the Mandalorian sector is the sector that these Mandalorians conquered years and years and years ago. So it's a whole bunch of planets in this. Concord Dawn was one of those planets as well. It was a farm, an agricultural planet. And I explained this a little bit in my History of the Mandalorian videos, but that's where Jango Fett comes from. So little inside knowledge there for you. But yeah, so they go, like, he's explaining all this stuff, explaining the planets, explaining that Mandalorians are more than about weapons. They're about navigating the galaxy and knowing how to get to where you need to go. That was really cool. I think this is great, and this is going to be a great through line for us as an audience too, because as he's going along teaching Grogu, he's actually going to be teaching the audience too. So we're going to get to learn a lot more about the Mandalorians, the Mandalorian culture. I think that this season will be very much an emphasis on Mandalorians, which is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted. Off the bat, I wanted all these Mandalorians, and we got it. I wanted to see more of the culture. I wanted to see more of the rituals, and we got it with the helmet ceremony. It was really awesome. That little kid did a great job too, by the way. Fantastic work there. But all the stuff that I want them to dive into, building the lore, building the history, this I think is what the season is going to be all about. It's going to be great. So, and we also at the end of the episode, what else did I have here? Oh, during the episode too, if they kind of explain where Cara Dune is now. She brought Moff Gideon to the Republic, and apparently he's part of being tried under a war tribunal as well. So Moff Gideon at this point is still arrested or whatnot. But at the same time, I think that he's going to escape. What do you guys think? Do you think he's going to escape? I think so, because we know that Giancarlo Esposito is coming back this season, so he's going to show up at some point, and he's definitely going to escape. One of the theories that I have is I think that what will happen with Moff Gideon is he's going to get out, and then we'll find that he reports to Thrawn. And this is something else, too. We didn't have any big reveals this episode. And a lot of, in the first 2 seasons, in episode 1, we had the big reveal with Grogu right at the end, coming out of the egg when he finds out that this is his bounty. And in season 2, we get the big reveal at the end, having Boba Fett in there as he's walking away, and he sees Din Djarin on the speeder bike on Tatooine. But this one, we didn't really get a reveal, did we? So there wasn't any big, whoa, reveal. And I thought for sure we'd get some big person in there, but we didn't. And come to think about it, the one big reveal that we had during this episode is something that is completely awesome too. That is just insane. I'm so glad we got it, and it's just amazing. And you might know what I'm talking about. Space whales, brothers and sisters. What? He's trapped outside? How is he trapped outside? My dog's trapped outside, apparently. Hold on, guys. I've got to handle this real quick. Yeah, I let him outside. Okay, crisis averted. So we're back. Dog was outside, wanted to come back in. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. So, yes, we got space whales. Oh, my God, the Purrgil, which we last saw in Rebels, as they took all the Empire ships off of Lothal with Ezra Bridger, and who else? Thrawn. So it was really awesome to get to see. Beautiful shot, too. Oh, man, I absolutely love that shot. So Grogu's out and looking in hyperspace and everything, and while Din's asleep. But then you get one shot of a Purrgil in there, and you're like, oh, man. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then they pan back, and you see all of them, these huge, large Purrgil. And it's like, man, this is so good. So I guess we can always count that as one of our surprise guests appearance, shock surprise guest appearances. Here's the puppy. Hi, buddy. You're gonna make. Whoa! Ah! Okay. Get down, buddy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's trying to help me spill my coffee over here, right? I think he is. So, yep. All right. So, yeah, I was excited about that. So I really would like to know, you guys could watch this later too and leave me some comments. And if you want to leave me comments, if there's a better time for me to do this, if you guys want me to come on live on Thursdays or something, just so you have more time to catch the episodes, or if there's a better time for me to come on, if you want me to come on later or come on earlier, just let me know. And whatever works for the audience out there, because I really want to get people involved in this. I want to get you guys, to help out with this and to share your thoughts and what you thought of the episodes. I want this to be a community that we build up if we can, because that would be really cool. So Purrgils, oh man, that was just awesome to me. Those effects were amazing. I can't say enough good things about the effects. They were so great. I was really worried too, going into the season. Going into the last few things that we've seen with Star Wars, Andor was great, but at the same time, Andor wasn't a show that I could sit down with my kids and watch. This definitely is one of those shows that I think will be fun for the entire family. My kids both enjoyed it. You enjoyed it, right, JJ? Yeah. There you go. Even my son enjoyed it. It was just a great one. It was fantastic, and that's something that, Andor was brilliant, but it's not something that your kids and your family can enjoy together. And here at Fatherly Fan, I love it when I can share this kind of stuff with my kids. And this is definitely one that I feel like we can, and that we can keep coming back to every single Wednesday and enjoying together, which is awesome. I absolutely love that. It's fantastic that we get to do that. So awesome time. So I enjoyed it. My kids enjoyed it. I can't say enough good things about it. And we see in the episode too that, Din is going back to Navarro to pick up IG-11. He wants to fix IG-11. And he's so adamant about fixing this droid. And the whole reason, I think, is just because that droid was his friend. And he trusts that droid. He doesn't trust Minnie. And that's the one he wants, and he wants to fix him. And I love the fact that they didn't just do a quick fix, like, oh, he's back, like, let's get him off of that statue and let's plug him in. He's back. I love the fact that, he's broken. His memory chip doesn't work. It's like, oh, well, let's get him another memory chip. And then they're like, well, you can't really find these anymore. He's an older droid, so we don't just have those parts laying around. And he's like, oh, well, if I find the part, can you fix him? So we have this like thread that, isn't easily solved. And I absolutely love that, because that's like life. There's lots of things in life where it's like, this little task becomes a bigger obstacle for you, or it becomes more challenging than you originally thought it would be. So I love the fact that they played with that idea. And I like the fact that, he went back to his original programming as well and tried to kill Grogu. I'm like, oh, God. And then, of course, Din's got to get a little dad joke in there. He's like, that's using your head. Now you're using your head, I think is the the quote that he had. I love that, full-on dad Din right there. So it was great. I absolutely love that. I keep saying that. I absolutely love that. But I did. I really did love that. And then we got, like, I loved seeing Bo-Katan right at the end and seeing her where she was at, because now I have a great theory about this and where things are headed. And it's really not even my theory. If you guys know Not Your Status Quo, Keith over there, he had a theory on Theory Palooza on their episode. Go check that out. Go check out their channel on YouTube if you haven't. But Keith had a great idea, and I think he might be right. Just I was reading some interviews with Katie Sackhoff as well, and just seeing Bo-Katan in this, she's at a tipping point. Like, things have not been going right for her. She's reevaluating things. All of her Mandalorian followers have left. They're either being mercenaries or just have left her completely because she didn't get the Darksaber. But she's all alone now, which is not what I expected from this first episode. I didn't think that she would be alone during this, which was interesting. I was just like, wow. I didn't know that that's the way they were going to play this. I thought for sure she was going to fight Din either in this episode or the next. But for me, it just seems like she's defeated. And one of the things that is going to happen during the season is she's going to find her way, and she's going to, come out of this in a different spot. And I think, what I was saying, like on Not Your Status Quo, Keith had a really good idea that, Bo-Katan might be, putting aside her armor and her warrior ways and being more like her sister, Duchess Satine, by the end of this. And I think that there might be some credence to that, because in the interview with Katie Sackhoff, let's bring that up if I can. Let's try to screen share for you, and I'll just read it so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. All right, let's share this. Is it up? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So okay, here we go. Katie Sackhoff. We do get to touch a little bit on her emotional journey this season, which is really fun for me. I love complicated characters, and I think that her backstory is incredibly rich and rich with complications, a lot by her own design. I think there will be a lot of deep, heavy thought and atonement going on in her mind potentially. So I think what she's referring to there is that she's going to reevaluate everything, how she's acted, what she's done up to this point, and maybe she's going to change her ways when it comes to that, and maybe she's going to be more of a pacifist, like the new Mandalorians. Again, she'll take up that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So we'll see when that happens. But that is definitely something that Keith brought up on Not Your Status Quo, and I think reading this article as well as watching this episode, there's some definite credence to that idea that this might be the tipping point for Bo-Katan. And maybe she'll rule alongside Din. Din can be the leader in name, and, he will go off and do the battles, but Bo-Katan will be the leader of, taking care of the planet and, all the administrative stuff. So we shall see when that does come up. But all in all, I really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was fantastic. I loved it, and I can't wait to see more of it. The only complaint is that it was short. I just wanted more. I wanted more Mandalorians. I wanted more story with Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan. I wanted Din Djarin. I wanted more Grogu. I wanted more understanding of Order 66. I wanted flashbacks with that. I want all this stuff. But I know it's coming. It's all coming, and we got to be patient. And there is Bad Batch to watch as well, so we got a lot of Star Wars this week. And I did watch Bad Batch, and, this is about the Mandalorian, so we're not going to go into that, but it was really good too, so you should definitely check that out. So yeah, if I was my initial rating for this one, and I'll rate this tomorrow too on my review and breakdown as well, but my initial rating for this is probably a 9 out of 10. I'm leaving some wiggle room there because, it was short for one, so I docked it for that. And, I know that there's going to be, so the season's just starting, and starting off on a 10 out of 10 gives us only room to downgrade, I guess, if you were. So 9 out of 10 for me. I loved it. I think we're right on track, and I'm not worried about this season. I was kind of worried to begin with. Book of Boba Fett was kind of a mess when it came to that, for the pacing and the story and how they outline things. But I feel like they got a very good idea of where this is going and where we're going to be headed towards. And what's really nice, too, is they got it all planned out. And Jon Favreau has actually written Season 4 as well, and they're planning on doing a Season 5. And, yeah, it sounds like it's all coming together pretty well. So I can't wait to see where we go with this. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave some comments. And let me know if you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't like it, let me know why. If you did like it, let me know what the best things you liked about it. I didn't even bring up Boba Freck or, his species. Oh, what was his species called? The Anzellans. So it obviously wasn't Babu Frick, but it was his species, the Anzellans. And I loved, didn't bring this up too. I'm just forgetting everything tonight. But I love the fact that we got a ton of aliens too. We got Trandoshans in there. We got the Niktos, and that main guy that, what was it, Van, was that pirate, the Nikto. And then we got the Swamp Thing looking dude. Did you see that guy? What was his name? Gorian Shard was the main pirate on that pirate ship. And yeah, he looked like he was straight ripped out of the DC Comics Swamp Thing. So I thought that was awesome to get to see that guy. Oh, man. And he looked really cool. And all these were practical, too. And I guess that was my only little complaint. And it's a small little nitpick, guys, is that Van, when he was talking, you can kind of tell it was a mask and everything. And it just looked a little off, that Nikto pirate that we got. We got Trandoshans in there as well. And then we got, what were the other ones? The dog reptile-looking creatures. I'm drawing a blank on the name. I talked about them on the Chapter 5 episode of Mandalorian Revisited. Klatooinians. So there were Klatooinians in there. There were Niktos in there. There was Trandoshans in there. And there was another species, too, with, like, the horns that go down. I forget what... I don't know. I didn't find out what that species was called. But it was really cool. And did you see, like, there was a boar-like creature on the ship, there with Gorian Shard, the Swamp Thing. Captain Swamp Thing. That's what I'm going to call him. Space Swamp Thing is what we're going to call him here at Fatherly Phantom. But it's just a plethora of alien creatures. And I got to say, that's the one thing I missed in Andor. I really wish there was more creatures. I wish there were more aliens in that, but we didn't get that. And I think that Season 2 we'll see a lot more aliens in Andor because a lot of these Rebel Alliance forces are going to come together and we're going to get closer and closer and closer to Rogue One and A New Hope. And so we'll see a lot more aliens because all these different factions, all these splinter cells for the rebels are made up of aliens and humans and all sorts of things. So I think we'll see that in the next season. But it was really cool to get to see that in The Mandalorian. It was just brought a whole new depth to it, and I just loved it. It felt like Star Wars. The asteroid battle was amazing. I gotta say, and I wonder, like, let me know, guys. Do you think that there were a couple of potatoes in there? I mean, it had all the best elements of Empire Strikes Back in there too. And I like hearing the score, which, by the way, Ludwig Göransson did not return for The Mandalorian, just as he didn't return for Book of Boba Fett. So Joseph Shirley is the composer for this season, and I've confirmed that. I've checked into that. Same as he was for Book of Boba Fett, and I thought the music was spot on. I think Joseph Shirley is doing a great job, and he worked with Ludwig Göransson on The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, so he was there doing the work at that time too. Maybe he was already one of the reasons why that score was so good, but he's doing great with this. And during that asteroid battle, I kept getting hints of the Empire Strikes Back battle as they go into the asteroid field and everything. It felt like that, and it was just so fun, as well as the Mandalorian theme playing throughout that portion as well. Just beautifully shot, beautifully rendered. The graphics were amazing. I the second time I was watching, I was looking, trying to see if I could find a potato, but I didn't find a potato. Did you find a potato? Let me know. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. Didn't know I'd be singing in this live stream, did ya? These are the kind of things you get to enjoy whenever you join me here on Hey Mando, our season premiere reaction live video. So I'm going to be doing this again next week. Again, if you guys want me to come on at a different time, please leave that in the comics. If you want me to come on on Thursday instead of Wednesday, please let me know that too. I'm very flexible. I'll make sure that I do whatever I can so that we can get the most people on here. I think we only have like one person on right now. Yeah, just one person watching. And if you're out there, let me know what you think. I've got the comments up here, but it doesn't look like anybody's commenting. Maybe nobody's watched it yet. Have you watched it? Have you watched the show? Have anybody? I don't know. So, yeah, I don't want to take up too much more time here, but yeah, this was a fun little thing. Wish we had more people on. I really want to hear from you guys, but if you're watching this after the fact, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you guys come on next week for this live event, then I will be able to post your comments on here. They'll be up on the screen. We'll be able to have a nice conversation about the episode that we're watching. Again, I think we're off to a good start. I think that we're in for a pretty awesome season. And I'll leave you on this, my last little theory. So, originally, when Din, in chapter 1, the first episode of The Mandalorian, him and IG-11, and this is all coming back together from that. Like, we see that he's trying to get IG-11. He shows up in the first episode of the first season of Mandalorian. Same thing here. But there were the people that they were fighting to get Grogu. Those were mostly Nikto pirates. So they looked like. So maybe they were actually a part of this gang, of the Gorian Shards gang or whatnot. So maybe, this is my stupid little theory. Might be wrong. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, right, Bernie? Maybe he's really interested. Look. So, yeah, bud. Maybe these pirates are the ones that found Grogu and took him away. I don't think that they're the ones that found him in the Jedi Temple. I still think that my theory is that Emperor Palpatine told Anakin, basically saved Grogu from being killed by Anakin. He probably told Anakin to stop and that they could use Grogu for experiments on Mount Tantus. Or he kept him in the Jedi Temple. Whatever the case may be, I think that he was under lock and key during the Empire's time. And as soon as the Empire fell, I mean, these pirates and everything raided these places, ransacked the place, they found Grogu and they took him off, and that's where Din finds him. And these Imperial remnants want to get him back because they know that he was out there, and that's why they track him down. That's why they put the bounty on him, and there you go. So that's how Grogu gets where he goes. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. It doesn't look like anybody else is on. I hope you do enjoy this episode. I hope you enjoy Chapter 17, The Apostate of Mandalorian. Again, after the fact, let me know what you think. And I hope you guys have a good night, a good Wednesday night. And from our families to yours, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.